welcome to another Team Clueless Battle Report. As you can see by the chocolate block full miniatures we have on the table, we're today playing a 3,000 point aside team game involving myself. I'm playing Space Marines. True, who is hiding behind me, is playing Imperial Guard. Chris over there and Paul over there are both playing Tyranids. Now this is a special scenario mission which I shall attempt to not take too long to go through the rules, but it's reasonably complicated, as usual.
So you'll be here for a while.
If you ignore the models that are on the table, we are basically defending this wall as the Imperials. So the wall has special rules that we use. It's basically a big armoured bastions, each of these sections that can be destroyed. We have also got two bastions in the front here. Each is armed with an Icarus las cannon. We have an Aegis defence line there. There's a comms relay there. There's a bunker behind. There is a comms relay attached to that. There's another Aegis defence line and a quad gun. Now, Trudeni's Imperials, oh, and an Imperial statue. We get all of that for free. Now, what does the Tyranids get, you may ask? Somebody ask?
What do the Tyranids get?
See, I thought somebody would ask. The Tyranids have this relentless assault special rule that means every time one of their units dies, it goes back into reserve and comes back on again.
But only once.
No, as many times as we kill them.
What the rules say.
No, as many times as we kill them, they come back on again. So, this is bad for the Imperials. But there are different victory conditions for each team. So if I go through the Tyranids' victory conditions first, because they're slightly easier to do. The Tyranids win the game if at any point they have 5 invasion points. Now, invasion points can be gained a number of ways. The first way invasion points can be gained is if at any point the Tyranid players manage to manoeuvre one of their troop units off the back edge of the board, they score an invasion points. They have also other ways of scoring invasion points. They score 1 invasion point for each one of our Imperial Warlords that get destroyed. So there's 2 points they can gain there because we have 2 separate armies. They gain 1 point if they manage to destroy both of the bastions. So if at any point both are down, they score a victory point at that point. If they get rid of this bunker down here, which is protected by a void shield, they score an additional point. And the last one is, if they ever control the Imperial statue as if it were an objective at the start of one of their turns. So they get a point for that. So they just need to get to 5 points. So there's various ways they can gain them, and we'll see when it happens. We're unsure of the balance of this mission, to be honest. So Imperials. The Imperials have a much harder task, I think, but I am an Imperial. We need to get to 25 victory points, but we have much easier ways of scoring them. So the ways Imperials can score victory points. We score a victory point every time we kill one of the Tyranid Warlords. Now remember, the Tyranid Warlords, if they die, come back on the table, so we can gain lots of victory points, keep on killing them. Other things we gain victory points for each turn, at the start of our turn, if we control one of the 2 comms relays, we gain a victory point. If our warlords are on the table at the start of our turns, we gain a victory point for each of those, so we really want to keep them alive. For every turn, at the start of our turns, that none of the walls have been destroyed, so these 3 wall sections, if they're all standing, we gain a victory point for that. Okay, I'm running out of memory. What else do we gain victory points for? Somebody can see the computer screen.
Holding the bunker.
Holding the bunker down here, we gain a victory point if we're inside the bunker at the start of our turn.
You get a victory point for each belly of a Tyranid you've been through.
Excellent. Well, not big enough to fit. So I think you get the gist. So Imperials have got many ways of scoring quite a few victory points, and so the idea of the mission is to try to sweep across the table, try and stop us scoring those points before we get to 25. If they get to 5, they win. We'll explain it as we go, because hell, that's far too much explanation for one video. Let's see what we've got in our armies. So, each of the 4 players brings 1,500 points. Now, my army may look small, it's about 20 models. Luckily, Trude's compensated for this by bringing about 100 models in her MP Guard army, which is good. So, what have I taken? I am playing White Scars today, so I get a good bit of hidden run action. I have a Chapter Master, he's on bike, he's got Artificer armour, he's got a Thunder Hammer, he's got an Auspex, he's got the Shield Eternal. No shock there. He's got 5 bikes with him, 2 are armed with grav guns. We have a squad of Assault Marines. Yes, you may wonder why I've taken Assault Marines in a standard Space Marine list, but they can jump over the wall and jump back again when needed. And they're armed with 2 Flamers, so they're pretty good at destroying little Hormigant squads and such. We have 5 Sniper Scouts. They're all armed with sniper rifles, and they have camo cloaks. We have 5 Terminators with Thunderhammer Storm Shields for whacking monstrous creatures. We have a Thunderfire Cannon. Everyone knows what that does. We have 2 Storm Talons, each of them armed with the Skyhammer missiles. And we have 1 Imperial Knight with a fast, rapid-firing battle cannon. Now, just for a quick aside, we've got our own special super heavy rules that we use, just to make them a little more fair. D weapons, we don't use the rules for those. They're basically still a really powerful weapon. They're a strength 11 hit that can ignore cover, and does D3 multiple wounds instead of 1 wound. So it's still really powerful, but it's not quite as absurd as a D weapon. And the other rules that we use different for those are, I'm trying to think, Yes, we don't use the remove from table stomp rule, but they can't be pinned in combat either. We basically use the old Apocalypse rules for them, because we've also made it so they can't be affected by psychic powers, because that's just silly. Let's see what Trude has brought, if she can decipher her own army list.
No. Okay, the army list of joy. The reason we're confused about this is because my printer has decided that ink, I'll just show you, ink is for the weak. So what we've actually got is a company command squad. Oh, they're over here.
I've got a plan.
I've put them over here.
If you read out the army list, I'll do the
do
camera
that.
work. Okay, look at this, we're double teaming. Teamwork, this is what it means, guys.
So, company command squad.
So, we have a company command squad.
No.
We're sharing the same brain.
There's the company command squad. Trude had moved it from when we set it out.
I know. Master of Ordnance, 2 bodyguards, las cannon, a couple of plasma guns. We have 2 troop units of 3 infantry squads each.
So, you can see those laid out over here.
And a platoon command squad each.
One
With
there, that one there.
4 grenade launchers, and the platoon commander has upgraded to a plasma pistol. Both of those squads have chimeras with a heavy flamer and a multi-laser. And then we have the Vendetta.
1 Vendetta.
2 Griffins.
2 Griffins. Now, these may look like Lemon Russes, but today they're being Griffins.
They're actually Griffins.
If we tilt them like that, then they're quite Griffin-like.
A Manticore.
1 Manticore.
A Colossus. And a Hydra.
Now, because we had issues with our army list, our Tyranid opponents have been very kind and given us an extra heavy support slot. Which is very nice of them. They're no doubt going to say that's the reason they lose if we beat them.
We didn't have the models, basically.
Yeah. Okay, so, hope you understood that. We'll explain it as we go.
Yep.
Okay, so my part of the Tyranid High Fleet is going to be led by this winged Hive Tyrant. He is rocking the double twin link Devourers. I've also given him regeneration and electroshock grubs and wings. And he's picked up the Psychic Scream and Paroxysm psychic powers. And he's got the Feel No Pain Warlord trait, so if he's wounded, next turn he gets Feel No Pain. Hanging around with him, we will have a Trigon Prime. I've given the Trigon Prime the Miasma Cannon. I've got 2 Harpies, both with heavy venom cannons and stinger salvos. 2 units of 18 Hormagaunts. 3 individual units of 1 Zoanthrope. 2 of them have got Dominion, and the 3rd has got Psychic Scream. A Tyrannifex with the Acid Spray Gun and Shredder Shard Beetles. And 4 units of 10 Termagants, who are going to try and get those points running off the back of the board.
And the other half of the Tyranid swarm are led by the Swarm Lord, because it's a swarm. And old One Eye, the Carnifex, has joined him today. Troop-wise, we've got 2 units of 10 Termagants and 2 units of 15 Hormagants, same as Paul. They're there to literally throw themselves towards the enemy again and again and hopefully get off that board edge at some point to score us some points.
Not going to happen.
Mike's arch nemesis, the most evil unit in the game, Hive Guard.
I can see. Sure, you join your own.
This fella who looks like a Trigon is actually a Morlock today. I'm trying some Morlock tactics. A Tyrannifex of my own, who's sadly lacking some limbs at the moment because I'm finished putting them together. I was putting together lots of miniatures. And Haruspex, and that's a Hive Crone, although he looks suspiciously like a Harpy. He's a Hive Crone today. And that's it. We'll see how that goes.
Okay, so this is our setup. First of all, if we go through the evil Tyranids, who always get first turn, and it's always night fighting at the start of this game. So, I'm not going to describe what all the models are. You can see what they are for yourselves. You've got that's Paul's Warlord in the centre there with the big wings. Couple of Tyrannifexes with their giant flamers in the centre there. Chris's Warlord, the Swarm Lord there. And you notice they've got all their Zoanthropes at the front to try and warp lance our bastions. So there's just a great horde of monsters there for us to fight. Trude and I have deployed inside our bastions to stop the Tyranids taking them. Down here we have an infantry squad holding onto that objective there. Good old Knight Titan is over there, ready to stride forward and kill the enemy. Our wall is lined with Imperial Guards. See, I'm glad Trude brought lots of troops. We have a command squad in the centre there to issue some first rank fire, second rank fire orders, and on the top of the other bastion down there, the other wall section down there, we have the Thunderfire Cannon. The models on top of these bastions are actually inside the bastions. We're just putting them on top there to remind us. We're using new Stronghold Assault rules, so things like the las cannon on top can be fired from inside. So on the back of our wall, we've got the bikes here. They're going to be charging out of the door when needed. You'll see there is a door in the centre of there. The Terminators, another counter-assault force. We have our company command squad inside the bunker with the mortars there to score the other objective. We have a spare Chimera with nobody in. And then you can see our other tanks there. We have our wall of artillery, which Jude and I both quite like. We have some assault marines with flamers. They're kind of like a backfield sweeper unit, and they're manning the quad gun for now. And then we have another Chimera. This one's got a platoon command squad in with grenade launchers. And that is our setup. No seizing the initiative. Let's see what the Tyranids can do.
Okay, so Tyranids' first turn. As you can see, the main part of the swarm just swept forwards. Obviously, the Hormagaunts are now ahead of the rest of the swarm because of their additional run move that they're allowed. Whilst the flying monstrous creatures have almost made it to the enemy's lines. Shooting was pretty effective, really. Both of our Tyrannoflexes have got the acid spray, and we sprayed acid all over this bunker and dissolved all of the Space Marine scouts that were inside. And then the Hive Crone and the Hive Tyrant managed to do a number on this Imperial Guard squad, reducing its number to 4 and forcing them to go to ground with a combination of bile and devourer shots. Unfortunately, one of the guys of the 4 survivors was touching the comms relay, so the Imperials were still looking to score a point from it. But luckily, we had our 2 Hive Guard who, getting information from the Hive Lord, the Hive Tyrant managed to take an incredible shot, shooting down like this with their ignores cover.
I fucking hate them models.
And took out the last guard. This Harpy managed to get quite lucky with a heavy venom cannon shot up here, dissolving the las cannon that Imperial Guard team had. This Harpy managed to see over and take a shot on the Manticore and whatever that Lehman Russ is, but didn't manage to do any damage.
Griffins, Paul.
Just like Griffins.
Okay, Imperial Defenders, turn 1. It wasn't the best we could have hoped for. You'll see we've thinned out a fair amount of their horde by firing our rack of barrage weapons at the back there. Unfortunately, due to night fighting, we can only fire up to 36 inches, which is about on this line. So we couldn't quite get to their monstrous creatures. Their flying monstrous creatures were what we had decided to kill this turn. We fired all of our guardsmen up at them because they didn't really have any other targets. All the stuff in the bastions, and both the bastions fired all their auto-fire weapons at them. I notice none of these are on the ground. I think one of them's taken 1 wound. That one over there took 1 wound, and they passed all their grounding checks. Other than on the Hive Tyrant in the centre, who we shot at once, and he failed his grounding check, and then the bikes, who had moved forward to run in and squish him in close combat. Unfortunately, their grav guns killed it before we got to charge him. We fired all our grav guns and killed it in 1 shot. So he has been removed, gaining us a victory point. Other than that, it was a pretty ineffective turn for us. We didn't really do that many wounds over there. We killed lots of Formagants and Termagants, but that's not particularly impressive. We really wanted to down some of those Harpies because they're going to get into our back lines, but we just couldn't do so. Other than that, victory point-wise, we are on 6 victory points so far because we killed their one of their warlords, and we also managed to get all the victory points at the start of our turn. Let's see what they can do in response. It's getting quite worrying. Look at all that stuff.
Tyranid, turn 2. The assault continues. So, both of our Harpies landed this turn. As you can see, this one over here managed to successfully destroy the wall with smash attacks, pinning the units that was on the battlements and sending them flying. This one managed to drop masonry, but unfortunately there's no one inside the building and no weapons, so it didn't really have any effect. Outside of the bunker, all of the swarm continued to move up. We've managed to get out of the rear quarter of the table now, and the Termagants are largely in our half still. The Hormagaunts are nearly at the wall. We had very good, all of our reserve rolls. So we had the Hive Tyrant pop back in. He's swooped over here, shot up some of these bikes, killing one of them and putting a wound on the other. The Morlock came up underneath this gun emplacement, doing a wound to it, doing a structure point to that basilisk, and killing 2 Space Marines. It then died, which would of course normally be terrible, but in this case just meant it went straight back into reserve for next round.
I died!
The Trigon popped up over here, used his miasma cannon to kill one of these units, and the other two have gone to ground under the electro spines, or whatever it's called, his normal attack. So those mortars are pinned, but we didn't manage to get them off that, stopping them scoring from that relay point. In the centre of the table, you may remember there was a huge Knight Titan. So we landed the Hive Crone and Old One Eye and the Swarm Lord and a Haruspex, and sent all 4 of them in, which was enough to do the job. The Knight fell backwards and managed to kill another bike or 2.
Another biker.
Another biker. So that was good.
And the Hive Crone, unfortunately.
And the Hive Crone took 1 for the team.
For those who don't know, when a super heavy explodes, you get one of these.
I'll have to pan out for that.
So it scattered over here, and then it de-weaponed the crone that was underneath it and took that out. And then the rest of the explosion did various wounds to other creatures and such. But alas, we're putting away the giant pizza plate now.
Well, you only get to use it once. You can only blow up once, unlike our stuff. All our zone tropes took more ineffectual shots. The Hive Guard shot up at the Thunderfire Cannon and managed to do a wound to it. So all in all, we didn't manage to score any victory points this turn. So the score is still 6-0.
It is the Imperial Defender's turn too, and a much better turn it was for us this turn. So first of all, we rolled for our reserves, and as you can see, we have 2 Storm Talons and a Vendetta came on. So I'm going to be quite quick here. This Storm Talon came on and murdered, with the help of, I believe, a thing from down there, murdered the Harpy over there. This Storm Talon came on and put 3 wounds, including the grounding check, on Paul's Winged Hive Tyrant that had just come back on, and then we finished him off with a heavy bolter from our bastion. Get in. Over here, a combination of fire from the quad gun and this tank here managed to deal with the Harpy up here. We fired various shots into the Swarm Lord, who is down here. We got him down to 1 wound quite quickly by firing the las cannons from the Vendetta, but then we ended up firing a lot of our dudes on all the walls into it, just trying to get out his remaining 1 wound. In the end, we had to fire some artillery at him and managed to take him out with the Griffins. We fired our Manticore over to that side of the board. We took out one of the zone ropes and a chunk of their troops over there. The bike command squad the bike squad ran forwards, intending to engage Paul's leader there, but unfortunately, because he died, we had to turn round and we decided to murder the big Tyrannifex instead. What else happened? Thunderfire managed to take out 1 of the Hive Guard. Go Thunderfire! Damn, I hate those damn Hive Guard. And the Terminators at the back managed to charge over and deal with the Trigon Prime that had emerged last turn, with aiding fire from the company command squad inside the bunker.
They lost one of their guys to plasma.
They lost one of their guys to plasma, and I've lost 2 Terminators. The Lightning Claw guy was heroic, though, in his 5-up invulnerable saves. So the scores on the doors at the moment, we are up to 13 victory points, so halfway to the 25-point total we need. The Tyranids have no points yet to get up to their 5-point total, but they're getting quite close to gaining more, and they're shutting down what we're gaining. We're no longer gaining 1 for controlling this objective at the front here. We're not gaining 1 from the wall anymore, so we've been slowed down quite a lot now, and I suspect we're going to be slowed down more in our turn. Let's see what the Nids can do in response.
Tyranid turn 3, the assault continues. So we've got quite a lot of our things back this turn. We've got both the Harpies and the Hive Tyrant. One of the Zoanthropes came back, and the Hive Crone as well. So that was, am I forgetting on? I think that's everybody came back. But unfortunately, we didn't get either of our tunnelers back, so we didn't do anything behind enemy lines this round.
Swarm Lord.
Swarm Lord stayed off, so that was good for saving us a victory point. So we continue to move up. The Hormagaunts have reached the bit of wall we destroyed here, and they've actually scaled the wall over here and now engaging the guard in desperate combat.
They rolled feebly in close combat, unfortunately.
But they're still up there, so that's okay. The Hormagaunts here have now taken control of this building.
It's a glorious effect.
An amazing turn of events. There is no Vendetta on the table. This is because, thanks to the old FAQ being released, these Hormagaunts have now got the ability to control Icarus las cannons. They wasted no time whatsoever in dispatching the Vendetta and the team on void. I used all these termagants that you can see around here. There's 40 odd in total, and the Hive Tyrant as well, to pour fire into the bike squad that have now been reduced to just this captain. They also assaulted the captain, and he's now jetted away. I think that's probably all the fun. We had a bit of a mishap over here with the Harpy came around the corner and immediately ate the quad gun, taking it down to 1 wound and grounding it, and it then missed its attack, so that wasn't very special. But other than that, I think that's probably the whole turn.
Imperials turn 3. So this turn we again stayed at the back firing our artillery company. Over here we decided to fire our Master of Ordnance at the harpy that was there.
What a great idea.
We'd already twin linked all our shots with "Bring it down" from the company commander. First time we rolled, unfortunately we scattered all the way back here, hitting loads of our own stuff. So we re-rolled that and we scattered all the way back here and hit our own stuff again. We have knocked the turret off the Chimera and we killed 2 members of this squad over here, which wasn't so good. But then our Bring It Down order did finish off the harpy, so all was well that ended well. Hydra there took some wounds off of the other harpy there. Our 2 Storm Talons kind of like flew in a crisscross formation and then used their turret-mounted underslung auto assault cannons to pour fire into the Hive Tyrant that was standing there. He crashed to the ground on the last shot, and then we emptied 2 squads of Imperial Guard at him, killing him with a lasgun, which was nice. So another victory point to us. Paul, I think, is regretting flying him over to us every turn. Now, over here, we charged into combat with our 3 Assault Marines that were manning the quad gun down the bottom to try and save the Imperial Guard. And it worked. We managed to beat them in combat by 1, but they're just out of synapse, so they broke and run, and we cut them down as they went. Our Thunderfire managed to take down a few Hormigants and Termagants. We fired a lot of our artillery to taking out Hormigants and Termagants were getting close to our lines because we couldn't really target the flying monstrous creatures. We had no fire we could direct down here at these 2 monsters, so they're either going to take down the wall or the door, or possibly even scale the wall this turn. Back here, the Chapter Master had run into the centre so he could assault various targets. He was mainly going after the Flying Hive Tyrant, but after that died, he diverted his attention to the Tranifex. He had 2 wounds left, but he charged in. He lost 1 wound on Overwatch, and then Tranifex rolled awesomely and just butchered him in close combat before I even got to strike with my Thunderhammer. Wasn't so good. So they gained a victory point for that, their first one, and we no longer gained the victory point for having that HQ ready at the start of our turn. Other than that, it was pretty uneventful. Our Bastion over there attempted to kill their Bastion over here because we thought it'd be funny, and our heavy bolters managed to drill a few loose Termagants. So the scores on the doors at the end of our turn 3 are 20 to us and 1 to them.
So they need 5 more points.
Yes,
we only need
4
4 more points. So I think we're winning.
Quite possibly. But they're getting closer to getting all of theirs, so let's see what happens.
Tyranid turn 4, and we finally managed to break through into their base. So as you can see, because it's turn 4, all of our stuff comes on. So we've had quite a collection of nasties pop up from out of the table. The Morlocks come on, killed some Imperial Guardsmen under him. The Hive, Crone, and the Trigon Prime both came up and shot their flamer weapons into the bunker. There's now just 1 very scared company commander in there. All of his friends are dead and all the walls are covered in vomit. We also managed to kill the people up on the roof. These Termagants managed to break through and kill the remaining Imperial Guardsmen, so there's no scoring person near here. So we're hoping that that will slow down their inexorable evacuation. Elsewhere, we have managed to climb up on the wall with the Haruspecs, and Old One Eye has cleared the wall and is now coming towards the tanks, looking very fierce.
Both of those beat up the prospective squads on the walls.
Yeah, so we've cleaned out quite a lot of Imperial Guardsmen. Swarmlord came on and is leading some Hormagaunts to try and get them off the back of the table. The Hive Tyrant, which has died twice, just decided that he would probably play a bit more safer, and he came on pretty close to the edge of the table, took some shots at this Storm Talon to make it jink. The las cannon from the bastion we've taken control of has also managed to make this one jink as well. So we are both of those are in jink mode now. The Harpy managed to land and turn around and knock over the Bastion, so we've only got one more Bastion to knock over to claim our victory point for doing that. So the score, we didn't actually manage to get any more points this turn, but we've put a dent in their ability to score points. It's 20 points to them and 1 point to us. So we need 4 points and they need 5.
It sounds a lot worse
really
than it is.
So
different scoring methods.
I think that we're winning.
Okay, so it is the Imperials' turn 4, and it's all gone a little bit Pete Tong, which is wrong for those in America. So, what happened this turn? Not a lot. We decided that we gained 2 VPs a turn for having a dude left inside our bunker. So, one for having our HQ Warlord live and one for having the bunker still. So, that's our 2 VPs we gained. And we're unlikely to gain those next turns. There's a plethora of monstrous creatures surrounding us. So, we decided we had to kill their leaders to gain points that way. So, we fired everything in our army over at the flying hive tyrant over there. He's on the ground, but has he, how many wounds has he got left?
He's got 3 wounds left.
He's got 3 wounds left.
Tower now.
We didn't do much to him, and we didn't hurt the Swarm Lord at all down there, so really bad. We're really struggling to gain points. The rest of the stuff we pitter-pattered around, didn't do a lot. We tried to deal some wounds over here. We hurt that Harpy a little bit. Oh, we haven't done the Terminator in close combat with that.
Whoa!
We'll report back if that was exciting. I expect the Terminator's going to die before he strikes, but we'll find out. But yeah, not a whole lot happened. We haven't really got a whole lot left. We've got our artillery section who tried to kill the commanders, but other than that, don't really have any guns. Not going well.
Okay, so Tyranid turn 5. As you can see, the Tyranid horde has surrounded the command bunker. We've had to call it because the hive crone has vomited up again all over the all over the bunker. There's no one left inside the bunker, so that means that they are no longer able to score any more points apart from killing our warlords. We've decided that they're not going to kill our warlords another 3 times. So we will eventually overwhelm the remaining defenders and claim this planet for our own.
Poor Imperials. It was looking so good on turn 3, wasn't it? On turn 3, you guys were like, fuck, because our shooting phase was phenomenal. It was evil. We just blew everything away. But yeah, it just went wrong. I think our last turn we didn't kill enough stuff, and then you just broke through in so many places.
Yeah, it was actually, I think, these two scaling the walls really made you then not have just this one point. And also when we had both our tunnelers come up as well, that made
that was it. They
difference.
both failed to come in the turn previously. That was a really big help to us, I feel. Yes.
So on the outside, there's no Imperials left. Oh no, there's these guys up here. We were about to.
That bastion.
Yeah,
we didn't bother rolling for that bastion, even though it was just
destroy that
about to be eaten
bastion.
by Tyrannifex and the Swarm Lord. So
And you had 4 warp blasts. Oh, they wouldn't have done anything.
No.
Not blasts for decoration mainly.
I think for your army, the Hormigants are really powerful in this game because they're so fast.
That's
It's such an
They
amount of board to cover.
outdistance so many things.
Yeah,
Absolutely
really good.
fantastic.
It's a big difference between the Termagants. Like the Termagants, some of the Termagants are all the way back here. They've only just managed to get into a table half. So
and usually you take Termagants because they can shoot stuff, and we had so many fortifications. Obviously, not very helpful against.
Yeah. The Flamers, I think, were all the Flamers we packed were I think,
all our
amazing.
acids and draw cannons, that's I think worked really
Yeah, all
well.
your free flyers were brilliant.
Yeah, Draw cannon, 2 acid sprays, the miasma cannon on the Trigon. They were all really effective.
I love the bike
cleaning up
squad. They
buildings.
were just ran around killing stuff, and
They
then
were a lot of fun.
artillery at the back was brilliant as well. Oh, dinner is ready.
And that is time up, I'm afraid.
I
So
think that's time for this interview.
Good game, everybody. We've got to tidy up the house before our friends arrive.
we will see you next time.